Well, hello, healthcare finance students. Here we are in Module 3, Week 3 of the course. So we're technically in the midpoint. Can you believe it? We're in the midpoint of the course right now. And when you're in a midpoint of a course, what do you have? You got a midterm. So we got a midterm this week. Don't want you to freak out about that. And for those of you that watch this video all the way through, I'll have a special surprise for you regarding the midterm. All right, so there's my teaser for you. But let me talk a little bit about last week. So in Module 2, great job, fantastic job on the learning activity. Almost everybody nailed the most riskiest stock question. So if you're burning to find out what the answers are to the learning activities, take a look at the links above this video, and I'll be posting the various solutions for the learning activities. Now, this week I'm only posting Module 1's learning activity. We have quite a few folks out there who have yet to finish, so I don't want to give away the answers quite yet. So, but when I do get them in, or a substantial number of them in, I will then post the learning activity for Module 2. So take a look at that. For those of you that haven't completed it yet, remember I do take late work. There is a deduction on points, but it's definitely worth it for you to do that, especially with these learning activities, because they're 50 pointers. Don't let a 50 pointer go undone in the books. Even if you get 40 points for the assignment, or maybe a smidge lower, maybe a smidge higher, but if it's still better than getting a 0 in the book. So make sure that you're getting all assignments in, and again, I do accept late work. All right, so that's a little bit about last week. This week, again, let's look at what we're doing in Module 3. This is one of those unusual weeks where we are doing we're doing parts 3 and part 4. So what does that mean? Going forward, every module is no longer going to match the parts within it. Okay, so you just got to get your mind around that somehow. So in Module 4, we're going to be doing part 5. Why is that, Chris? Well, initially this course was designed around 8 parts, 8 modules, so I had to combine some pieces together because we're only in 6 weeks. I also took a lot out of some of these parts, especially when we're doubling them up together like we are this week. Okay, so this week we got parts 3 and 4, long-term debt financing, bonds, and that kind of stuff. Very important for these big, heavy capital investments that you're making. And then equity financing, what's that? That's stocks. So you're going to learn a little bit more about stocks in part 4. And then, of course, we have the midterm, and we've got 2 learning activities, a learning activity for part 3 and a learning activity for part 4. Doable, but it's going to be a busy week, guys. I do understand that. All right, so that's kind of a look at what we're doing this week. Let's go ahead, as promised. Let me show you a little hint on the midterm. So I know that midterms can cause some anxiety for folks. So especially in this course, because you haven't had quizzes. In some of my courses, you have quizzes, and obviously they build on a midterm, so you got a flavor of some of the questions and what they look like. So I thought, hey, let's get you a preview of some of the questions. So turn on your screen recorder or get your camera out, because we're going to look at the actual midterm. And I'm going to show you a few questions in there so you get an idea of the level of difficulty, and so you can be prepared for it. One of the things you want to do is you do want to go ahead and have your online calculators ready. And before I know you're just dying to see question 1, but before I do that, there is a large discrepancy, not a large, there is a discrepancy. Some folks are doing things by longhand. Great, fine if you want to. And a bunch of you are clued in perfectly on doing the online calculators, and you're probably finishing your learning activities in about a half an hour, versus some of you are probably taking hours and hours and cussing me out while you're doing it. If you're doing the online calculators that either I use in the videos or in the homework help, make sure you're watching that. It should make your work pretty easy. And a lot of you, great job. You're doing the screenshots just like I asked you to do, or recommend. You don't have to do it. just screenshot the calculator inputs, boom, drop them into a Word document, you're done. Literally, the hope is that these things are taking no longer than an hour to do. And what's great about the calculator, if you get some crazy answer, doesn't make sense, you go back in, you kind of massage the inputs until you got the inputs correct, and it doesn't take too much trial and error before you go, that kind of makes sense. So great job for those of you that are doing it. Great job that are doing longhand, but I feel so bad because you're taking so much time on some of these questions, or I should say some of the problems that we have in our learning activities. All right, that's a little bit about that. Now let's go ahead. You're dying to see question 1. We'll just roll through some of the questions here. Won't give you the answers, but you can kind of get the level of difficulty. So question 1, future value question of an ordinary annuity. Okay, you guys should be good with that. Get your calculators ready. Get not your financial calculators. Some of you mentioned you got financial calculators. I think in the intro video, you do not need to go get a financial calculator. Use these little calculators that I recommend on the internet. They're easier. They're less complex. You just plug stuff in. And it doesn't cost you money. So use those. All right. Got a future value question. Got a present value lump sum. All right. How many questions am I going to show you? Let's do 10. Sound good, guys? We'll do 10. All right. That's question 2. Question 3. Got another future value. Again, I don't care if you guys take pictures and answer the questions now. Don't care. I'm just, I just want you to practice doing this stuff, and playing around with it. Question 4, we've got, the CD question. Okay, certificate of deposit or savings certificate. That's where you deposit a lump sum. You can't touch it for a period of, in this case, 6 years. How much do you have at the end of 6 years? That's a pretty straightforward question for you guys. And let's see, we've got a perpetuity here. Whenever you see perpetual, you're going to think perpetuity. So remember perpetuities. Yep. All right, that looks good. Number 6, savings account question. All right, that's a true false. That should be a little bit easier on that one. We do have some true false mingled in here, as you can see. Here's another true false. Present value. So you understand the relationship of present value and future lump sums. Question 8. Again, you can always pause the video, write these down. Again, don't care if I'm going too fast for you. Question 8. Discount rate. Remember some of these terms, discount rate, interest rate, pretty much the same thing. Got a present value of a future lump sum, so you're taking that. That's another conceptual question, no math necessary. So you got a present value, the present value of a future lump sum of $100. So the future it's 100. Make up whatever future you want. 100 years from now, this thing is going to be worth $100. How much is it now? Okay, I think you got that answer right. There's another 2.5 points. Small essays in here. It's a little break. You don't have to do some math. So what is an opportunity cost rate? Again, just give your basic definition in there. I'll give you one more bonus. You guys want a bonus? Sure, I'm sure you do. All right, bonus question 11. Which of the following statements about financial risk is false? Okay, so hopefully that helps a little bit. I've given you a preview of 11 questions out of the midterm. They're not too terribly difficult. You will find, just by random chance, we got those first 11. Some maybe are a little bit more story problem-y like, but the vast majority are kind of that complexity that you just saw in that preview that I gave you. And those are live questions that you will see on the midterm. So you guys can go ahead and pencil those down and kind of work those out. Again, my recommendations, I give a huge time chunk on this too. So most of you don't need all the time that I allot for the midterm, but take it if you want to. Look up answers, do whatever you want. Run your calculators, have your tabs open so you can get those online calculators that we've used through the course up to this point. Do know that the midterm was covering, I believe, parts 1 through 3. So make sure you've got parts 1 through 3 completed before you attempt the midterm. All right, I think that's it. Looking at my notes here, guys, everything I wanted to talk about today. Yep, that's everything I wanted to cover today. So everybody have a fantastic week. Again, great job on the work that I'm seeing coming through now. Fantastic effort. Maybe just a little bit too much effort. Use those online calculators to help yourself out, guys, on some of those learning activities. Really work a little smarter rather than harder. All right, everybody. Have a fantastic week, and I'll check in with you next week. Thanks.